you're highly welcome to this YouTube channel. So we'll be making a short pants that has an elastic waistband. It also has a side pocket. So if this is something you're interested in, if this is something you want to learn how to make, if this is something you want to watch, then keep watching and do not touch the dial. These are the major items needed for this tutorial. You'll be needing your fabric, any fabric of your choice. Then you'll be needing an elastic band. Yes, so this elastic band is stretchy and it's about 1 inch wide. So you can go ahead and draft directly on your fabric. But for some weird reasons, I just want to draft on my pattern paper. If you don't have a pattern paper, you can make use of a newspaper or any paper around you. Yes, or you can also go ahead and draft on your fabric directly. Firstly, I will mark out the space where my elastic waistband is going to sit. That is where I'm going to put it in, which is around the waist, obviously. If your elastic band is 1 inch wide like mine, go ahead and mark out 2.5 inches down. If you are using a tiny elastic, then mark 1.5 inches. The logic is just add 1.5 inches to your waistband wideness and mark. Now this line represents my waist because obviously your elastic band sits around your waist. So this is a space where I am going to put my elastic band. I hope you grab. Now moving on, you're going to go ahead and mark out your short length. That is how long or short you want your short pants to be. You want your knicker to be. I hope you grab. And I want my shorts to be 16 inches long or short. Now you can see the way the tape is placed at the waistline, which is quite different from the way we normally do draft a trouser without an elastic at the waist. So because this has to do with, this involves an elastic waistband, which is going to be at the waist. So that is why you just go ahead and place your tape on your waistline. Now go ahead and rule this 16 inches for my full length. I'll just rule the line across. You grab a hem. Then I'll go ahead and add my aiming allowance. So it depends on how wide you want your aiming to be. If you want it so wide, you can use 2 inches. If you want a moderate kind of wideness, you use 1.5 inches. If you want, you're not concerned about the wideness, maybe you want a normal wideness, you use 1 inch. So for me, I'm going for the moderate, so I just went ahead to mark 1.5 inches like so. And I'll take my rule and rule a straight line across like this. Now this is my aiming line. I hope you understand. So next, from your waistline, you mark 9 inches from your waistline, and this 9 inches represents your hip line. So you just go ahead and mark 9 inches from your waistline like this. Then I'll take my rule and rule a straight line across it like this. So I'm just going to extend the line further, and this line represents my hip line. Now furthermore, we'll go ahead and mark out the crotch line. Now for my crotch line, I am making use of 12 inches. To get your crotch line, divide your hip measurement by 4 and add 2 inches. So my hip measurement is 41 divided by 4 gives me 10.25 plus 2 inches gives me 12.25. So I just went ahead to mark out the 12 inches, which serves as my crotch line. And I'll go ahead and rule a straight line across like this. Now this line represents my crotch line. Now once this is done, I'll go ahead and divide my hip measurement, that is my round hip measurement, by 4. So my round hip is 41. 41 divided by 4 gives me 10.25. I'll go ahead and mark that out on my hip line, and I will mark that same measurement out on my crotch line like this. And I will also mark that same measurement on this waist as well, like this. Now I'll go ahead and add 1 inch for sewing allowance all through. I will add 1 inch on my hip line, 1 inch on my crotch line as well for sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect these 3 lines together like this to give me a straight line. Now after doing that, I'll go ahead and measure the total measurement I have on my crotch line like this. You can do this on either your waistline or hip line because they're all the same measurement. And I'll divide what I got by 4 to get my front crotch extension. So I got 11.25 divided by 4 gives me 2.8, which I have gone ahead to mark out on my crotch line at the front of the straight line. So after marking out the 2.8, I'll just go ahead and make a curve from this straight line to the 2.8 inches. You can see the curve. Yes, you just go ahead and curve it like this. Now once this is done, once you've given it a good curve like this, you can use your curve rule if you have one. After doing that, you just go ahead and draw a straight line down from your crotch extension, and you just blend these lines in as well. Now go ahead and cut this out. So cut like this. Now after cutting, if you want your short to be tight around your thigh, you go ahead and mark 1 inch in. So let me just show you how to go about that if that's what you want. You just go ahead and mark 1 inch in from this your full short length line, and then connect it from your crotch extension like just the way I did. So this is what you will have like this. So that's not what I want, so I'll just open it back. Next step is to draft out the back pattern. Please ignore these drawings on my pattern paper. My toddler did some artistic drawings on it. So please just focus on the drafting we're about to do. So I'm just going to indicate this is my front pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on the paper I want to use for the back pattern. So while placing, you can see that I left a space at this top here. So you go ahead and do that. Next thing I'm going to do now is I will do the same thing I did on my front pattern, which is measure the total measurement I have on my hip line. That is half the total measurement. And after having this time around, I'm going to divide it by 2. So since I have 11.25, I'll go ahead and divide it by 2 to get my back crotch extension. Yeah. Now after dividing by 2, I add 5.6 inches. So I'll go ahead and place my tape from this straight line. As you can see, the 5.6 inches, I'll place it from this straight line, and I'll mark it out like this on my crotch line. I hope you understand. Now that being done, after doing this step, we'll go ahead and just add 2 inches allowance all through. You just go ahead and add 2 inches. Now the reason for adding this 2 inches is you know that your back pattern is always bigger than your front pattern because your bum is at the back, so it's bigger than the front. So obviously you just had 2 inches all through like this. Now I'll go ahead and connect these lines using my rule like this. I'll just go ahead and connect curve to the crotch extension, to the back crotch extension. Let me be specific. Then I'm just going to go down here and rule a straight line like this. So after this is done, at this waistline here, I'm just going to come up by 1 inch on my back pattern like this at the waistline. Just the way you're seeing me done, I'll just extend it to that 1 inch. Then I'm going to slope it down like this to meet with the front pattern, with the waistline of the front. I hope you understand. If you do not understand, just drop your question in the comment section and I'll try as much as possible to explain to you. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out like this, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and cut. Now that this is done, we have our front and our back pattern ready. So you can go ahead and include the size. This is for a size 12. You can go ahead and include this so you can use the pattern paper some other time for whenever a size 12 or size 6 or size 8 comes back. Now at this point, if you don't want a side pocket, you can just go ahead and use this pattern to cut out your fabric. Then there is no need for going through the process we want to do. After cutting out your fabric, you go ahead and place your fabrics together like this. Then you close up the sides and close up the crotch, the side for the tie and the crotch as well. Then you wait for us towards the ending of this video to see how you can put your elastic band. I hope you understand. But for this video, we are going to put a side pocket. So if you want to put a side pocket like I'm about to do, just go ahead and cut out this waist from this waistline. You go ahead and cut out the space for the elastic waistband. Do that for both the front and the back pattern. Now to cut out the pocket, you go ahead and place your hand like this on a piece of pattern paper and just mark 3 inches on all 4 sides. That is 3 inches from your hand like this, just the way I did. Then you go ahead and connect this like this. Just draw a straight line like this. Just be drawing straight lines to connect each other. I hope you grab. So you can use 2 inches or 3 inches, but nothing less than 2 inches. Now after doing this, you go ahead and cut it out like this. Now we're going to use this to cut out another piece. So I'll be doing that now, which I'm doing right now. So you cut out exactly what you have before. Now we have 2 of this, so we're going to keep 1 of this aside. We're going to set it aside. Yes, we'll go ahead and set it aside. Aside. Oh my god. Next, we're going to measure 3 inches from this point here. And we'll mark out 4 inches downward like this at this other edge. Now we're going to connect this markings like this by drawing out a curve. So you just go ahead and do this. Then you go ahead and cut this out like this. Next, you bring in the front pattern. Now you go ahead and place this pocket piece 1, which I have labeled it. And you can see I placed it towards the side, not towards the side of the crotch. So I'm just going to cut out this curve exactly the way the pocket is on the front pattern. I hope you understand. Now this is how it's going to be. You place it in and you bring out the other piece which you didn't cut and place it at the back like this. So you have your pocket. Now we're going to use this pattern papers to cut out our fabrics. We'll cut out the fabrics with these patterns that we've drawn out. So this is the front pattern, and I wanted to have my side pockets on only one side of the shirt. So the reason I just went ahead to cut out the pocket side for just only one piece, and I let the other piece go. But if you want your pocket to be on both sides of the shirt, just go ahead and cut out the pocket piece on both pieces of the front pattern. Now this is the back pattern, and I cut out 2 pieces of fabrics as well for the back pattern. And then for the pocket, for the pocket piece 2, I cut out 1 piece. For the pocket piece 1, I cut out 1 piece as well. If you want pocket for the both sides, so you have to cut out 2 each. Next, you place the pocket piece 1 on the pocket piece 2 like this, and then you run a stitch like this in an L shape like so. So I have done that. I've run a stitch, the L shape stitch, and you can see the way it is. You run a stitch like this on it, and you go ahead and weave the edges. Now you bring in your front pattern for the side pocket, and you go ahead and you see this pocket side that has this curve. So we're going to stitch it down to this point like this, and this is done on the right side of the front pattern. So you can see this pocket piece is, I've stitched it down already though, and you can see the pocket piece is lying on the right side of the front of the front pattern. So when you turn it over like this, when you take it to the back, to the wrong side of the front pattern, this is what you are. So you go ahead and stitch here down, and you stitch here down So I have done that, as you can see, and you can see that our pocket is ready. So that is it for pocket. Next step is to bring out a piece of the back pattern and place one of the front pattern on it like this, making sure that both right sides are facing each other. Then we're going to close up the sides and close up this other side as well using 1/2 inch. Then we'll go ahead and aim it like this. So you do the same thing on the other two pieces as well. Now you close up the sides, aim it round, and also close up the other sides as well. Now I have stitched down the sides and I have aimed it round. I have also closed up this end as well. The next step is to bring in the other leg of the short, and which we have done the same thing for. I will turn it over to the right side of the fabric. Now we're going to put this into, we'll go ahead and put this into this other leg of the short like this, as you can see. Then after doing this, you can see that, you know, the right side of the fabrics are facing each other, as you can see, and the front crotches are on the same side and the back crotches are also on the same side. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch it down, close them up like this. We'll close them up, we'll stitch them down to close them up. So I have done that, and this is what you will have. Let me turn it over like this. This is what you're going to have. Now we'll go ahead and focus on the elastics for the waist. If you were in the group of no side pockets, meaning you didn't get to cut out your waist space, all you have to do is to go ahead and fold in the space for your elastic waistband like this. Let me do it towards the front so you understand. Then you stitch it down so that you have 1 inch space for passing the elastic band through. Next, for us that did the side pocket, all we have to do is to measure around the, you know, waist of the short. So you go ahead and measure around the waist of your short. Now for me, I have 45 inches, so we'll go ahead and cut out a long strip of fabric that is 3 inches wide. And also for the length, you had 2 inches to what you got round your waist measurement on your short. So since round my waist was 45 inches, I added 2 inches, which made it 47 inches long. So this fabric is 47 inches long, and you can see it is 3 inches wide. I added 1/2 inch to that 2.5 inches we marked out earlier. So next, you go ahead and fold it like this, and you're going to stitch it to your waist like this. And while stitching it, you leave 1 inch out of it, 1 inch space out of it, and then you stitch it down to your waistline round like this. So I have stitched it down to my waistline, and you can see I left 1 inch out and then I stitch it down, and you can see that I have 1 inch here and 1 inch on the elastic band as well. So we're going to pass this elastic band through this space we have on the waistband as well. Now for me, the method I use in cutting out my elastic band, as you can see it's stretchy, is I divide my hip measurement by 2, and I had 2 inches to cut this out. So since my hip measurement is 41, divided by 2 gives me 20.5, right? So I'll go ahead and add 2 inches, and then I'll cut this out. So after adding 2 inches, I'll go ahead and cut this out like this. So this is how I cut for mine. Now there are some elastic bands that are not as stretchy as mine. All you have to do is you just go ahead and pass the elastic band through the waist space, and then check it on your waist if you are okay with the elasticity you have. And if you are, before you go ahead and cut, I hope you grab. Now go ahead and put this into the waist space. So if you enjoyed this video, and if this video was helpful to you and you're yet to hit the subscribe button, like, guy, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So I am doing that right now. I'm passing the elastic band through this space like this, as you can see, till I get to the other hand, till I bring it out of the other hand like this. Yeah, so this is it. So after doing this, the next step is to go ahead and stretch out the waistband like this. Now the purpose of doing this is so that I have the ends of the waistband and the ends of the fabric on the same side, like at the same points. I hope you grab. Now that I have that, I'll just go ahead and use my office pin to pin down the elastic band. So I'll just go ahead and pin it down so it doesn't go in, because that's another process on its own. It's another issue on its own. So I'll do the same thing on the other hands as well. Now after doing that, I'll also go ahead and pin it down. So this is what we have. Now the next step to take is, that 1 inch we left out while stitching down this waistband, we'll go ahead and turn it over in like this and stitch it down like so. So just close it up and you remove your office pin after closing it up. Now after doing that, we're going to have this beautiful shirt. You can see our shirt is ready. It's our shirt. So my short pant is ready, and don't forget to weave the inner stitches to give it a neater look at the inside of the shirt. Now this is how it looks, and this is how beautiful it is. This is so comfy, and this is something you should have, and of course this is something your clients or your customers should have as well. So see you on my next video. Love you guys. Mwah.